tell you, you were one of my easier ones with the tech, though. This is awesome.
We haven't gotten through it yet.
I know. I shouldn't jinx it.
Don't jinx us. Exactly.
Well, it does show that we're live on both of our platforms, on YouTube and on Facebook. Wonderful. So I will just check in one other area and start sharing before we really get started. So
wonderful.
Great. And then I'm just going to give it a second. So for those of you that are hopping on here with us, let us know that you're with us by giving us that thumbs up and start commenting, please, so that I can get us started and going. Okay. Well, awesome. I think it looks like I see Brian Head with us and a couple other people that are hopping on. So as you're hopping on, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment. Sometimes it doesn't show me who is on here until you start commenting. So it's not just because I like compliments and flattery, although I do like those as well. Give us those shout outs so I can in turn show my gratitude for you hopping on with us. So good morning to everybody and thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce, and I'm excited for this Thursday's broadcast. As you're aware, for the last month, we've really focused on our nonprofit corner, where we pick partners in our community that are doing some awesome things to shed light on what they've been doing, how they've been doing it during this time, and ways that you can support them. But before I transition to our guests today, I want to give you some basic rules and housekeeping, as I generally do. If this is your first time on here with us, be sure that you hit that like button, that you also hit the follow so you get those notifications and alerts when we go live. Then I won't have to continually pause at the start of this and it looks like I'm just being awkward. So hit that notification button so you can get alerted and drop what you're doing. This is also simultaneously shared on YouTube. And so if you know of people that are interested in our broadcast, but they're not very Facebook friendly, let them know that it's streamed in real time. They also have access to commenting there as well and posting questions. We get them just at the same time and can address those as well. Be sure that you're following us on Instagram and on Twitter at Westy Chamber, where we post some rather more specific things that are outside of what we do on Facebook and more engaging, I would say. So those are the fun platforms where we have some different things that we post out on there. So as you're aware, we've been hosting these since March, and they're designed to help you in small increments or in small time periods really understand what's going on around you, ways that you can get plugged in, and resources that are available to you. All the videos are available at any point in time for you to see at the video section of this Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, and of course on our Westminster Chamber Resource Hub. That's Westminster Chamber COVID-19 update, where we have a lot of resources, city, state, county, and other updates that we get related to COVID. Now, you saw me post this good morning message by Brian. Hopefully you have a profile picture that you're proud of. In this instance, I know it's of him and his kids being out there in the outdoors of Colorado. So make sure that you comment with us along the way. We like the conversation to really be focused on what you all are taking away. So if there are nuggets of knowledge that you're getting, we want to hear what those are. I mentioned to you, we like the compliments. We also like knowing who's on here with us. But also, if you have questions that we need to address, we will take those up at the end of the broadcast. Again, displaying it on here for you. And if you're not comfortable, you can always DM that to us. Now, on to our speaker for today. Today's topic, I mentioned to you, is a nonprofit corner. We're featuring Westminster Public Schools Foundation. Their executive director, Stephanie, will be sharing more about their organization, what they do, and then how they've overcome some of COVID, what that looks like in terms of efforts and programs, and then into the future, how you can support them best. So I will mute myself, Stephanie. It is all yours to take away.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's so is such a fun, I just want to, credit the Chamber for doing this. We have all had to become so innovative in how we connect and how we communicate with each other. So thank you to Juliet and to the Chamber members for doing this. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here. So would love to jump in and share a little bit about the Westminster Public Schools Foundation. Our mission is to create partnerships and programs to improve student achievement in the Westminster Public Schools. Our vision is to see every Westminster Public School student succeed. And our motto, and I do love our motto, and I will explain it as I go along, but it's one pair of eyeglasses, one tutor, one scholarship at a time. And so that I like to start usually when I'm talking to folks with a story, and I want to share. We had a student. Her name is Abby. Her name is Abby. She went through the Westminster Public School system as elementary, middle school, and attended Westminster High School. And she got a scholarship through the Westminster Public Schools Foundation, and she received a $10,000 scholarship to go to college. She was the first in her family to go to school. She was a first-generation kid, and she went to Metro State University. And one of the unique things, one of our programs is, when I say one scholarship at a time, is that we do have a very large scholarship program. And this scholarship program not only offers financial support to our students, but it also offers wraparound services. We have a program director who works directly with our kids to help them with the ultimate end game of getting a college degree. And so we stuck with Abby. We had touch points and support services available to Abby, and she knocked it out of the park. She did her student teaching. I think I skipped over. She decided her major was going to be become a teacher and go into the field of education. And I am thrilled to tell you that 2 years ago, I think she's entering her second year. She became a teacher, and she became a teacher with the Westminster Public Schools, and she is teaching at the high school. And so that is one of my sort of, full circle stories of how we invest in our kids, and then they come back and they invest right back into our community. And so we are insanely proud of what Abby has accomplished. But as I mentioned, scholarships is one of our biggest programs, and we offer these wraparound services because we know that first-generation kids often need extra support. But we don't. We also know that not all of our kids will get a college degree. Many of them will get an industry certificate. We know that about 75% of all jobs right now require some type of education beyond high school. So a high school degree is not going to be sufficient enough for them to get a job in which they can support themselves and become a contributing member of our communities. So we also support our kids through career and tech education programs, and we help support paying for certificates. Westminster Public Schools has a fabulous program that they have developed there where I think we're up to about 17 different tracks that kids can major in and get certificates. So in early childhood education, in culinary services, IT, web and graphic design. There's some really neat things that help kids who hone in and say, you know what, this is the track I want to go. So the foundation is very proud to support those programs as well. This year, we awarded 27 new scholarships, which came to over $200,000, actually almost $250,000 worth of scholarship dollars that we were able to award to our students this year. But that is, people know us for our scholarship program, but we also invest in district initiatives. And district, obviously, we only exist because the district is there, right? So having a really close partnership with our district and understanding our role as a foundation, how we can help enhance programming for our students and our teachers. And so we look at different areas in which they're focusing every year and make decisions on how we can financially contribute to these programs. One example was a math tutoring program that was offered within the district, free math tutoring. The district was looking at math scores, knowing that the long-term potential of a student, they need to have strong literacy and math skills. And so to increase our math efforts, the district offered free math tutoring to any student. That was one of the initiatives the foundation was able to go out into the community, raise some dollars and help support. And so that is our one tutor motto line. Our third program, a focus area in which we fund, is a program that we've had around since 1988 when we were founded. So we're coming up on 35 years of being in partnership with the district. We created the Benevolent Fund, and this fund was created to remove any barriers that might prohibit a student from being successful in the classroom. So we often think of this as the eyeglasses fund. And the example is, a student may have health insurance that covers one pair of eyeglasses for the year. And all of a sudden, a student is showing up in the classroom and they don't have their glasses. And so they have lost their glasses or they are broken. I've had a principal share with me that he's had students come where their eyeglasses are so duct taped and pinned together. That student needs to have the adequate materials to be successful. So we will pay for a new pair of sunglasses. We've paid for hearing aids and hearing aid batteries, which those things can cost almost $7,000. They're incredibly expensive. We do emergency medication refills, one-time refills. We do dental emergencies. So it definitely goes beyond the eyeglasses. But again, we want these kids to be successful. But this helps me sort of transition into where we have landed as of March 13th, when everybody's world changed. And that is when we stopped having in-person schooling for our kiddos, and we transitioned to online programming. And so when that happened and everything started to snowball, we knew as a foundation, we also had to be incredibly responsive to the needs of our community and our students. And so Benevolent Fund came into play, but I want to start sort of at the beginning and do this. So the first thing that happened was that we are a district that we had one-on-one technology. We were blessed. We were able to deploy all of our Chromebooks to our students so they could have access to a computer at home. But we quickly learned, as districts around the nation learned, that we have many families that did not have access to the internet. And so this becomes an equity issue for our kids. So we quickly invested about $35,000 to help our technology department to purchase hotspot devices for our kids. With that said, certainly want to say we partnered with the amazing community supports that came in. So there were supports through the Comcast Essential program. We connected our families to whatever resources we could, but there was still a gap. And that is really where the foundation comes in, is to help cover those gaps. And so we were able to quickly get enough hotspots to our families and to our students so that our students all could be online. It was a 1-week turnaround. Our teachers, our principals were incredible. I have to give them all credit for what they did. And the classrooms were up and running and they were online, and we had our kids online and learning. So that was the first area. And then very quickly, we recognized that food insecurity was a large issue for our families, and that we needed to step up. And so I'm going to look here because we certainly did not step up alone by any means. In March, we created 4 sites to offer grab-and-go meals for our families. Our culinary department, our director of food services, and the 50 food service employees that were on the front lines there Monday through Friday, including during spring break, food was offered to our families. So in March, we had 4 sites. By April, we were up to 12 food delivery sites. And now currently we have 17 sites. We are still providing the emergency food meals, and we will do so through next week. That is when we end our summer food program. All in all, 810,000 meals were provided to our students and community members who needed help. And we did not by any means do this alone. This was probably one of the most collaborative, incredible experiences that I've been able to be a part of. And I want to give credit and name partners that stepped up. And I always think of the foundation as a bridge, that we bridge partners in the community to come together to help grow our students and make them successful. So through the food program, we in the very beginning, we had a donation of the cleaning materials and sanitizers that we were able to give to our families, right? That was so important that our families had that. Those came from a precious child, which does amazing work in our community. These amazing food programs and nonprofits, Food Bank of the Rockies, were amazing in getting food donated to our sites. Food for Hope, Food for Thought, and We Don't Waste. These agencies also stepped up and provided food. So what we were seeing is that we were providing food Monday through Friday, and we knew our families were stretching out their meals so that they would last through the weekend. By partnering with these agencies out in the community, we were able to give families fresh produce and give them extra food bags for the weekend so that they had enough food and they didn't have to worry about rationing their own food. We are forever grateful to the Westminster Police Department, who helped us put all this together, and the City of Westminster. So, right, we had to do traffic control and flow for all of this. We needed to make sure this is all done in a safe way with all the new COVID guidelines. So we are very grateful for their involvement in supporting our efforts. We were able to partner with WIC, and we had WIC at our sites handing out materials for families that qualified for that program. We had the 2020 census of Adams County also there. So again, we really just rallied as a community, and it's been really incredible. We were also able to do home delivery to our families that were homebound and they were not able to get out into the community. I'm watching my time and I know I'm starting to go long. I want to quickly add, so besides our food program, we then really, our benevolent direction quickly shifted, and we knew that families needed basic needs. And so we were able to support our family with basic needs supports through gift cards, and over $30,000 of gift cards were distributed to our families this spring. We anticipate we are going to continue to do that into the new school year when we're back up and running on August 20th, which is 1 week from today. Crazy. But we, very basic needs, families being able to buy their own cleaning products, their own personal items. We identified our neediest families and worked with each individual school to identify those families, and we're able to get supports. None of this could have been done without the support and contributions of folks in the community. We are so grateful. We certainly anticipate the need has not gone away. It is going to continue. And I am happy to keep going and I talk about sort of what we see as challenges, if you would like, of what's coming up.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of people that have popped on here with us. Counselor Seymour, I see him on here as well, and a couple of other folks. I don't want to butcher your name, so I won't say it, but I see you guys. And we did have a question that initially came through from Brian, but I think you answered it actually for him related to the scholarships, and he did emphasize on that community partnership and outreach that you guys are doing. How impressive that was. That wasn't as a time thing. That was mainly because I wanted you to see and hear that people were really appreciative of that. So for those of you that are just now hopping on with us, we have our nonprofit corner. Our partner today that's being featured is WPS Foundation, or Westminster Public Schools Foundation. Their executive director is Stephanie, and she has shared with us kind of what the foundation generally does, how they provide and support from mentorship to, in classroom needs that students might have, to what COVID has kind of brought forward with internet activity or lack thereof, and then more importantly, the food insecurity and them addressing that. So I'll just have you keep going, Stephanie, if that's okay. And if we get some additional questions, then I'll just throw them up, and that'll be your cue for me to ask those of you. But if we can talk a little bit about the challenges, and then looking ahead, because you did touch on, the food program will keep going at least until next week, which concludes the summer meal plan program. So what does that look like for the foundation now that we're going back to restarting school? Are you still seeing a similar approach to what you've been doing in the past, or will it be kind of that combined response?
I think with everybody, it is almost down to a day by day, right? Flexibility of what's being thrown at us in the moment. We are anticipating that we will continue, yes, to have a COVID response, so that we will continue to support families with hotspot devices if those are needed. Again, we want to make sure Westminster Public Schools at this time is offering two platforms, in person as well as an online program. So obviously, if there's a gap in our families being able to access the online schooling, we will be there again. The benevolent funds, as the unemployment money is running out, we know our families will be greatly impacted. Our low income rate at Westminster Public Schools is 78% of our families. Our students qualify for free and reduced lunches. So there are some really high needs there, and we know transportation, again, with the change in COVID policies and recommendations by CDC, we are cutting back on how much we were able to transport our kids. And so we know, especially at our high school level, there's going to be a need and a gap there in students needing to take finding other resources to get to school. So again, we will try to figure out what our role is as a foundation. We certainly also hope to just continue to be able to support our programs. We invest in the career and tech education programs. We will continue with our scholarship program. We were successfully able to do that all online in the springtime, and we will, if we need to transition to that, we will do that all again, and do that via the internet and the web. And we, in terms of our own fundraising efforts, we most of our events are in the springtime. So we have not made any final decisions about what our annual breakfast, where we brought 350 people together last spring and raised a significant amount of money to put into our programs. We don't know what that will look like. We have not made a formal decision. We certainly will not put anybody at risk. So, but we feel like we have some time just to wait to see what that will happen. And we anticipate that we will be able to do our golf tournament in June, where we can do an outdoor event. And so we do hope that folks will participate in that, and stay tuned with us and follow our social media and log on to our website to get the latest messaging. And they can sign up for our newsletter via the website to find out the latest of what we are doing and how we're responding in terms of our fundraising efforts. And again, we can't do our work without the support of really generous folks in this community. And I thank everybody who stepped up and responded to our requests for help in the springtime. And I, want to say those needs aren't going to go away. And so if folks are able to continue to support our young people, our most precious resource in our community, I really encourage you to visit our website to make a donation.
Excellent. And I will get your website details, the phone number, all of that as soon as we're done with some of these questions and comments. And that way people can be able to support you in the long run and really connect and get those updates and information in a timely manner. We did have a question that came through, and this was, we touched a lot on your motto very early on. One of those key components was the mentorship opportunities that were available to the students. So this question kind of follows up on this, asking, where does the foundation find tutors? Do you partner with organizations basically outside of the school district? So are you working with faith-based organizations, service clubs, businesses? I'm glad Brian did ask this question because this is something that, historically myself and working for chambers, we feel that in helping that mentorship and support, and that hasn't been the case, I know, from my end. So please speak to that and let me know how we can best support you.
Well, thank you, Brian. I really appreciate that question. We do partner. We partner with Rotary clubs. I would absolutely love to deepen our relationship with faith-based organizations. We have had some relationships with them, but I know we can go deeper, and I know there's more support out there for our kids. And certainly our businesses and corporations are critical to our existence. We have different avenues in which folks can help and do volunteer work. We have a career tech education advisory group, and that's where we have brought in business experts in our different industry training areas that I mentioned: culinary services, early childhood, marketing. And so there is an advisory group. We are always looking for people to be a part of that. Now, I do have to put this in the context of it's going to look different this year. We will be limiting the access of outside folks to our kiddos, but in the context of things are safer and more normal, yes, we encourage folks. We use community partners to be a part of our scholarship program, to read and interview and help us select our scholars. So, and we have a board of directors, and I am always looking, and right now we've got 20 dynamic board members who are corporate partners, who are alumni, who are current employees of the district. It's really important that we have key stakeholders sitting at the table. So if anybody's interested in that, we would love to have, I would love to have dialogue with anybody who's interested in learning more about ways that we could partner. But we can't do it alone, and we all need to, wrap our arms around these kids in our community and help them have the most successful educational experience that they can.
Absolutely. And I can personally attest to the scholarship program because that was around the time that COVID was going on, and you all thought creatively and how to still keep it going. And we did it virtually, and we're able to still review the number of applicants and support them. So I know you're still making it work even in the environment that we have. And to reiterate that, I'm going to throw out this comment from Councilor Seymour, who's thanking you for your efforts, the foundation for your perseverance in serving Westminster, especially during this time. So know that that's very much appreciated, and a lot of people are seeing the work that you're doing.
Oh, thank you, Rich. I greatly, you've always been a supporter of our work, and we are grateful for what you do for the city and our community. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
So Stephanie, where can people go to sign up for email updates? So you mentioned a website. So can you provide me with that link? And then if they are interested in either calling and chatting about those opportunities or anything, what's a good number that they can reach?
Wonderful. So yes, www.fundwps. So fundwps.org. That is our website. We've got a lot of good information on there. And then perfect, there it is. I'm so impressed, I have to say. You're doing this. This is very cool. Very, very cool. Our phone number, our offices are open, 720-542-5067. And if you get our voicemail, we will absolutely be getting back to you. So don't hesitate. And then on our website, you will find our emails. We're a two-person show. I have an amazing program director. Christian also goes by KZ. He does hands-on work with all of our scholarship kids and our post-secondary kids, as well as just providing amazing support for the work that the other work that we do. So We will get back to you.
Well, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, for sharing those updates. For those of you that were able to tune in, I appreciate you kind of dropping everything for a 30-minute update with you today featuring our nonprofit partner. If you're watching this broadcast and it's after we're done live, then be sure to give us that hashtag replay so I can follow up with you and know that this was content that you enjoyed and things that you picked up from. And then if you were maybe a family or somebody who may benefit from one of the programs that Stephanie has shared and we're not comfortable sharing comments or questions, be sure to DM us. You know, sometimes we'll have private messages because people are not comfortable posting that out in public. We never share your information, so know that as well, unless you ask us to specific people. So if you're comfortable with it, reach out to us through private message. If you watch this on replay, give us that hashtag replay. And then if you are aware of people that would benefit from knowing about what's going on with the WPS School Foundation, make sure that you share this video out, share it to your timeline, share it in your network, share the link. The more people that are out there sharing the information about what's amazing in Westminster and our community, the better that we can grow and continue to build on a stronger community in general. So before I close out, I just want to remind you we'll be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. for our next broadcast. I appreciate you guys for spending the morning with us. Stephanie, I appreciate you for making this work, for kind of throwing everything you're doing in a short period of time, which is very hard to do because I know that you've got a lot going on. Being a nonprofit, we tend to wear probably 20 different hats on a regular day. With COVID, it makes it about 40 if I'm not mistaken. So I appreciate you and your efforts with the foundation. I'm excited to keep building and partnering where we can.
Thank you, Juliet. Thank you, everybody out there.